New Zealand uses a risk-based approach that emphasises safety and accountability for all gas fitting work. This approach requires you, as an authorised gas fitter, to assess the risk that's associated with each job you do. How do you assess risk? Risk for gas fitting work is broken down into 3 categories. Low-risk work includes jobs that didn't require certification before the 2013 amendments to the regs came into effect. High-risk work is outside the scope of the means of compliance or the installation standard, or where additional hazards exist. General work is simply work that isn't assessed as low or high risk. The reason the regs go from low to high to general risk is based on the way you need to assess an installation. First, check if work is low risk. If it isn't, check if it's high risk. If it isn't low or high risk, you can assume the work is general risk. The board has developed a set of checklists to help gas fitters determine an installation's category of risk. These checklists are available on the board's website, or you can develop your own checklists using resources available on Energy Safety's website. First, determine whether the gas fitting is low risk. For this video, we'll use the board's checklist. Work through the checklist to determine if the work is low risk.
So for example, if I'm replacing the cooker in my kitchen with another cooker...
So like for like
yeah.
sort of thing? Yep.
So then that's low risk?
It is, unless you were like repositioning the pipework or one of these other little scenarios here.
Okay. And then if I decided not to replace it, but just to get it serviced?
Well, that would be maintenance, so that is low risk. It's really important to go through the list to determine whether it is low risk. When you're going through the list, if you find somewhere that it's not, doesn't fit in that category, it's not low risk, then you can stop there and move on.
If you determine that an installation is not low risk, for example, if the like-for-like hob installation is going to result in a change in pipework, you need to look at whether it has any of the 12 conditions listed in the regs that would make it high risk. The board's developed a high-risk gas fitting determination checklist that includes the 12 high-risk conditions. If any one of these conditions applies and you haven't assessed the work as low risk, it is high risk. There are additional responsibilities for documenting high-risk work, including providing information on Energy Safety's electricity and gas high-risk database.
So for example, the job I've got coming up, we've got existing gas space heating. I'm going to take out the electric storage water heater and put in a gas continuous flow. So that's going to be high risk.
Yeah, well that fits right into category 1 there. Alteration or addition to existing installation. I mean, that's one of the most common categories in here. That way, and working in a caravan or boat with sleeping accommodation, they'd be the 2 most common categories, high-risk categories that there are.
If work is not low or high risk, it is general risk.
So for example, a new house build is going to be general gas fitting.
Yeah, well if you've gone through the low-risk checklist and it doesn't fit in there, and you've been through the high-risk checklist and it doesn't fit in there, it must be general gas fitting.
What about when you're working on part of an installation with another gas fitter? If you're responsible for pipe work and another gas fitter is installing an appliance, you must each assess the work you're doing separately. Remember, while you determine the risk category based on your own work, you need to make sure once your work is completed, it will be safe for connection to a continuous supply of gas.
So for example, that job we've got coming up, I've been contracted to run the pipe work, so I've assessed that and I see it as general gas fitting.
And I'm doing the appliances, and I've been through the checklist and it fits right in the high risk category. So my assessment for that will be high risk.
Visit the Energy Safety website for regulation updates and guidance documents, and to access the high-risk database. The board has a number of resources available to help gas fitters, including the checklists described in this video. If you hold a current authorization from the board, you have free-to-view access to a suite of standards through your login on the board's website. You can purchase these and other standards through the Standards website.